I talked to Priya, she's just joining in.
And
Tanvi
Dave
is also just joining.
and Nancy.
Yeah, Nancy is also going to be here in a minute also.
Okay. Dave also is missing. I think we want to see all the cameras on. If that would be great. You can keep yourself muted, but keep your camera on. Yeah, that'll be great. Awesome.
Don't add anyone. We will add.
Yeah, we will add because the names, no, unless it's somebody from the team that we know. Is Asna from the team? Priya is there, Tanvi is there. I put student, and so that's why it's easier. We are just waiting now, I think, for Nancy and Dave. Rohit, drop a message, just opening in a minute.
There we go.
Awesome.
Give me a sec, making.
Just waiting for Nancy's. Nancy's not here.
Tanvi ma'am, can you on your camera? Oh, okay, sorry.
Please let in Dave. He's waiting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
it's-
joining. I let him in. Just taking
Some
a second.
network issue from their side. Taking time. Nancy is here.
Awesome. Great. We are ready to go.
Give me a sec, making a hold.
And should I let everybody in, Rohit?
Some network issue with Nancy ma'am or still joining?
Nancy, you did not admit her. I'm just admitting.
Maybe.
Is she there now?
Yeah.
Okay. Rohit, should I let everybody in?
Ma'am, give me a sec.
Just see
Nancy, ma'am?
Nancy's video.
Yeah.
Ishita, you are a little bit too high up. No, thoda sa niche kar lo apna tilt down. Perfect. Just so that we keep everybody at the same level.
Ishita, you have to use a different background. You're using
Zero
wrong backdrop.
Nancy ma'am, can you on your camera?
You're using a Wong SDG Cafe backdrop. Yeah.
Can I let everybody in, Rohit? Not yet.
Nancy ma'am, I don't know if she's connected or not.
We are seeing her picture, Mentor X ka.
They please start your video. Avisha, please start your video.
Dr. Nancy is connected, both that. Just ask her to. Dr. Nancy, can you just, can we just see your video just to make sure it's working?
She's on. And
Just, Rohit, did you put the message in the waiting room? Dr. Nancy? Can somebody call her?
Yeah, I just got a message from her that she might keep the video off for 5 minutes. She's just finishing a session also.
Because she's the first introduction, so that's a little bit tough.
Right. Okay.
so I'm
Yeah, she's here.
Yeah. Awesome. I'm letting everybody in.
Yeah, very good morning to all. And sorry that I joined little. I just, came out from a session. Looking forward.
No worries, no worries. Thank you. So Kirti here.
Yeah, if possible, just whenever I have to speak, just keep 5 minutes from now or 10 minutes from now. That'll be better.
Because you're in the introduction, so you're in the first part.
No worries. No worries. That's okay.
So Nancy ma'am, can you switch on your camera for 20 or 30 seconds only. You're muted, ma'am.
Awesome. Rohit, do you want to make it live and then we start? Hi, welcome everyone. Today we are running a little bit late. We are also not used to this 11:30 morning timing. It's a little new for us, but excited. So hi and welcome. So today we've got something very, very exciting. A strong woman knows she has strength enough for the journey, but a woman of strength knows it is in the journey where she will become strong. So what will the woman of 2030 be like in her career and as a leader? Sipping Thoughts in partnership with Orient Square presents Women 2030, which are panel discussions with Gen Z. It's a 4-part series that we are hosting in April and May. And today we're focused on talking about career and leadership. I'd now like to introduce Nitin Dhawan from the Orient Square Project to tell us what this is all about.
Thank you so much, Sukirti. Okay, so this is part of Orion Square's WONG movement, Voice of the New Generation. Voice of the New Generation is an initiative through which the new generation is being sensitized about global social issues. And Women 2030 is our initiative in that direction. Through this, we'll also create an opportunity for the new generation to influence the attitudes of the society towards improving and bettering the world. So today's theme, which is career and leadership, as Sukirti said, is one of the most interesting and exciting themes. So we're really looking forward to it. Today, the Wongsters are also going to be covering the event through live tweeting. So Wongsters are particularly requested to watch out for instructions on their groups starting now. There will be a contest every 4 to 5 minutes, and best tweeter will also be awarded with an Amazon gift certificate.
Wow.
Over to you, Sukirti.
That's amazing. And we have lots of great also gifts for all of our participants here. They will also be given participation certificates from Sipping Thoughts and Orient Square. The winner of this overall contest will actually receive from one of the most popular trainers in public speaking 2 public speaking private lessons. And she's trained the youngest ever TED speaker. I'm not talking TEDx, TED speaker. So we're very, very excited about that. We're also excited about our partner, Talarang, who is with us. So thank you for that. And now coming back to this contest, and we are really interested also in understanding the views and the views of Gen Z, because sometimes they have us confused as to how do they think? What do they think? So this is moderated by myself. I'm Sukirti Gupta, by Dr. Nancy Juneja, who is the CEO of RevUp Life Skills, and by Ms. Tanvi Sangal, who is the founder of Cinnamon Consulting. We will gain a sense of the future and the thoughts of these youngsters through this insightful panel discussion between 5 representatives of the new generation. And we will be choosing one of the students from this round to the final round, which will be on May 14th, in which the topic will be womanhood in 2030. So let me give you a little bit about both of the other judges. Dr. Nancy Juneja, she's a peak performance mentor. She's a highly acclaimed success coach, leadership mentor, international author, TEDx speaker, founder and CEO of RevUp. Wow, that was a mouthful in itself. And she has been conferred with the prestigious award, the Karma Veer Chakra by the United Nations ICONGO. She's also a startup mentoring and providing quality education to the individuals and communities. Welcome, Dr. Nancy. It's exciting to have you with us today. And the second one is Ms. Tanvi Singh.
Wonderful.
Ms. Tanvi Sangal, who is the founder of Cinnamon Consulting, which is a brand identity design and strategy firm. She also supports and is the founder of India Vale, a company that supports marginalized artisans by reviving and reinventing dying Indian crafts. She has been covered in Indian Express, Femina, Ideal Home and Garden, and was recognized by Times of India as the Youth for Change in 2016 by US Embassy's Indo-American Center as a youth leader in 2019. So I'm going to start off first with our judges and want to understand from them as we move on to the Gen Z. So Dr. Nancy, let's start with you. What is the essence of a woman leader for you?
Wonderful. This is really a lovely, point to be discussed here to start the forum. And I must say it's an honor and privilege to be here among the youth of today, discussing about the women of 2030. While we talk about the essence of women power, I must say I'm proud to be, born as a woman, because trust me, a woman is a nurturer, a woman is a, empowerer, and a woman is someone who is taking care of 360-degree angle. Being a woman, it is the essence is, to bind everything together, be it your home, your kids, your work, your economy. So it is rightly said, once you empower a woman, you empower the whole world. And, while we say about essence of women leadership here, I must say that, women wear invisible crown, not of gems, but of hard work, persistence, courage, and passion. And, being a woman herself, being her versatile self, it is all round multitasking, connecting all the dots together and making it happen. Definitely, we have witnessed women in each and every domain today, and we'll be witnessing much more.
Wow, fantastic. I love that invisible crown. And we're all cheering you, Dr. Nancy, with a lot of Me Too's. And this is the right kind of Me Too that we want to see. To Ms. Tanvi, what are the qualities that you feel that make women succeed in their career?
Okay, so Sukriti and Nitin, thank you for having me here today. And a very warm hello to all the Wongs that we have. What makes a woman successful in her career? Now, men and women have been created differently, and we all have our strengths, and we also have some areas where we may not be very good. And Dr. Nancy did highlight a lot of the traits that women have. I would like to add that what we do have is resilience. We are very resilient. Ever since we are young girls, there is a lot that is conditioned to us. There's a lot that, everybody tells us, and the very fact that we are different from boys is something that is put into us, and a greater sense of responsibility. If you are an elder child and you have younger siblings, you're going to be as good as your mother in taking care of them. Or if you are made the monitor of your class, you're going to do such a good job of it, because something inside us from the generations that have been there before us builds in a great sense of responsibility. And that's why we're able to multitask. Not that we ideally want to, but it's just how life has been created for us, that we have to look at our homes, we have to look at our job, we have to look at maybe a business if we're managing that, and we may have some passion, interest, a social circle, or even self-care. And I feel that resilience and the ability to manage a lot of things in a fine fashion is what makes women good in their career.
I love it. I love it, especially the resilience part, because maybe these guys are very young, but as you get older, you will realize that resilience is actually which takes you through. And now moving to the Gen Z, and we're going to start with Asta. So Asta, you're the first up today, and you're a 10th grader from the Stewart School in Bhubaneswar. She's a passionate feminist with a knack for research, creative writing, international affairs, debates and discussions, especially related to gender equality and human rights. Wow, I love it. I think she's kind of summed up everything that we want to get out of the session today. So my question to you, Asta, is can women have it all? This question has gained a lot of attention in recent times. What does this question mean to you? And what is your opinion on it? And I want to know that, do you think you can have it all?
Thank you so much for your question. So when we say, can women have it all? What exactly do we mean by all? In a general sense, all refers to finding success in your career, maintaining valuable relationships, raising a family, and still finding time to take care of yourself and look and feel your best. It sounds like a perfect life, doesn't it? Well, it's not as easy as it sounds. No one can have it all, as time and resources are finite and every choice has a cost. Secondly, having it all means different things for different women. Some women tend to have a career-oriented life with a spouse and children. Some just focus on their professional career and love life and shun the idea of having kids, whereas some women become incredible homemakers and nurture their family with all the happiness. Well, in the above three cases, none of the women literally have it all, but all they have is a choice to lead their kind of happy life. It's not about whether women can have it all. Rather, let's question whether women can have the required opportunities and resources that requires them to be privileged enough to make their own choices and redefine their all. I will conclude by saying that the woman of 2030 is someone who has the dignity to make her right choices of her own decisions, a fierce woman who won't stop by any stereotypical or patriarchal beliefs of the society and will lead a life on her own terms and conditions. Thank you.
So tell me, I'm going to ask you, Asta, do you feel that you as a woman in 2030 will have that freedom of choice that you talk about?
Yes, ma'am. Not just in 2030. Why shouldn't we just start from 2022 itself? Why wouldn't I be given the choice of making my own decisions, even if I'm a minor? Simple decisions like, deciding my own career path, deciding my passion, my choices, and living by my own terms and conditions, but with respect to what my parents also expect from me. As ma'am already said, that as women we have different responsibilities, and that also includes that we need to have strong bonds with our parents, mutual understanding and trust between all the relationships. So yes, I believe that as a teenager I have the right of choices, and I do believe in making my own decisions, and in future too I will be having that dignity.
Fantastic. I'd like to get Dr. Nancy, your view on this. Can women have it all?
So definitely, very well put together. I must say, a robust point of view. And, why not? Women can have it all. And there is no harm, going for the entire cake. Why not? It is never something that women have to sacrifice, or women just have to be, overthinking more to come out of their comfort zone. I feel women can have it all. When they can do all the tasks that we mentioned upon, we discussed upon, why not they can have all the rewards? So very truly, put by Ruasta, and I must say, passionate points, and which I can totally relate to and I've lived in my journey.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dr. Nancy. And before we go on, love to ask the audience also this question. Do they feel that women can have it all? Before we take the rebuttal from Priya. Priya, what are your thoughts on this?
Hello, ma'am. So when it's come that women can have it all, I will say it's quite easy to say that everything is possible in this damn world, but we all know the reality. It's like a fairy tale saying that women can have it all, but the reality is quite harsh. So, ma'am, when we see that women are in a job position, somehow they are not treated equally among their colleagues. Somehow they are not treated equally in their family. They have to go through many things, and when it comes to manage all the things together, then it's like a big challenge for them, and somehow the things doesn't goes out as planned. So I don't think the women can have it all, and one of the most important thing behind this is that the society, but society kind of makes pressure on you. Everyone say that society doesn't matter, but society does. Somehow you feel pressure, and you just get displaced from your goal. So I don't think women can have it all. The only thing she can do is that she can cherish all the decisions and all the moment of her life she has made, and that is how she can have most of it.
Nicely said, Priya. I think I also feel that way. And I heard a very good saying in one of our other things. Women can have it all, maybe not all at once. Or if your priorities are clear, if your priorities are clear, you'll be able to have what is actually in your priority. We'll move on to the next question, which is to Shatab Singh. He's a 12th grader. He's from Springdales. He loves to read. He loves to debate, listen to music, and learn about cars. So we have to ask him also what's his favorite car. But we'll move on also to the question. If your spouse earns less than you, and at the same time, if the family responsibility has increased, who, according to you, should take a pause in their career? And Shatab, I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to say if your spouse earns more than you, because I am speaking to the male gender. So I'm going to turn the question around. If your spouse is earning more than you, who do you think should take a career break? Go ahead, Shatab.
Am I audible and visible?
Yes, you are.
I was actually expecting the question to get turned around.
Good prediction.
Okay, so for me in this situation, I'd say exclude the gender aspect of it. But the question, just think about it. If in a relationship, one person makes more than the other. Now, the question specifically states that the family has increased responsibility. Now, if the person who earns more continues with his job, an additional amount of money is an asset, which means that the family responsibility is already increased, wouldn't need to increase anymore. It would just probably go down. So logically, it would make sense that for the the member of the couple who earns less to take a pause in the career, and for the person who earns more to keep going with the career. Now, logically, that would make sense. But let's just say in the case of a specific couple, they wish that the one who earns less continue with their careers because they're just too determined to not give up. That's a separate issue. Now, that again takes into account the social factors and the biological differences. But going from a purely logical point of view, I would say that the person who earns more should continue with the job.
I'm going to ask you another question, Shaitab, and just following up. If your spouse earned more than you, how would that make you feel? Does that make this generation feel less secure?
Well, I can't comment on the account of an entire generation. But for personally, I can say that for me, it won't really be a problem. I won't think of it as an obstacle. I think of it as a stepping stone, basically.
Very nicely said. Tanvi, we would like to get your point of view on this, because as we talk to a lot of relationship, this money factor seems to be a big issue, at least facing the current generation.
So yes, you are right. And you put the right word here, which is money. We can talk anything else. It is about money. To all the Wongs, I would say money is very important in life. If anyone is telling you anything else, do not believe them. Money is important. Money is power. It may not give you happiness, but it ends up determining everything in life that does. It determines the kind of time you may have for your relationships. It determines the kind of education your children will get, the food that you will eat, the home that you will live in, the people that you'll find around you. So that is my take on money. And I want all of these young kids to understand that it is important, and it is also an energy, so it must be respected. It doesn't have to be chased blindly. It has to be respected and to be worked towards and also worshipped, because in our culture, we do worship money. There is a reason for that, and which is what we should remember. When it comes to the question that we asked, Shraddha, now yes, of course, what is the ideal thing? That the spouse who is earning less should probably take a backseat, take over the financial responsibilities, the family responsibilities. When I was doing my job about 10 years ago, somebody very senior made a statement to me saying that in a marriage, one person will have a job and the other will have a career.
Very nicely put. And please delve into that, the difference between a job and a career.
So, and I said, what are you saying? But it hit home. So while both are looking at the kind of life they need to live, the financial responsibilities that they have, and both are contributing towards them, but there will be one person who will also have to pick up a kind of opportunity, which may not take them very far, which may be just, something that is getting in a certain secure income into the house and keeping them also fulfilled. And the other person gets to run, gets to chase what they're doing, and may not be able to give the kind of time they need to give at home also, because they're trying to build something which can be very big for them. And now it is on the couple to decide whether it is the fact that this lifestyle that comes with money, these dreams and hopes that they have as a family, if that is important, then yes, one of the spouses should take a backseat, whoever is in the job, and the one who has the career is where this relationship goes and all of the priorities go. That's just my take.
Very nicely said. I'll just add
that response.
Yeah.
See, because a job and a career, that is irrespective of the gender of the spouse. So whether it is the fact that the person who earns less than you is the one who has a greater chance at a career, that person should continue with the job.
Totally agree, Shweta. We'll take the rebuttal from Asta, but I would also say there is a third choice. Maybe both need to understand and step up and see how they share the responsibility. So both don't have to take a pause in their career. But go ahead. I'd love to hear Asta's rebuttal also.
Sure. So what I believe is that it's understandable that for many women, interruptions in career, especially in particular case where women earn less than men or their spouse, can serve as a catalyst to be to a more balanced relationship. But however, according to many economists, family-related career interruptions can undermine women's economic prospects in various ways by contributing to the wage gap and by narrowing the pipeline that feeds top-level jobs. So I think that there should be a more holistic approach towards this issue, and rather than stepping back, there should be a good and fair sharing of responsibilities, so that the economic prospect of a woman as an individual doesn't get diminished or undermined by the above factors. So
Yeah, totally with you. So we're going to move on to the next question. And I too do agree. I think we have to figure out as a society that how can both people continue their career so that we don't have to make these tough choices and these tough sacrifices. We're
Not
going
to,
to
counteract with something that Asta said that really struck with me was that a major factor in the pay gap was gender.
Yes, it is. And we'll come back to that. But we're going to take the next question. It's to Dev Shukla. He's a 16-year-old high schooler from Modern School, Barakamba Road. He's interested in entrepreneurship, already has a patent pending for his indigenous fintech model, and wants to be a responsible citizen for idealistic and an inclusive society. Wow. So this question is right up your alley because we're talking about how to get women to be more inclusive in this society. So the question to you is, a child is the most precious asset for a mother. Do you think this motherliness often interrupts the career graph of a woman? Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
So a very good afternoon to all present here. I'm Dev Shukla, an aspiring entrepreneur interested in finance and investments and working towards my fintech startup. Today, I will be sharing my thoughts on the question whether motherliness often interrupts the career graph of a woman. Well, in the context of the contemporary times and drawing evidence from the historical statistics, this question seems to be absolutely true. As a widely prevalent notion, becoming a mother does hinder your propositions of performing well at your workplace. However, the reformed question that we need to ask is whether this notion actually stems from real life experiences or whether the patriarchal stereotypes play a significant role in its propagation. I believe that it's the latter one. One of the essential ingredients of being a good mother is being happy with one's life circumstances. When the working mother is intellectually stimulated and satisfies her passion for achieving tangible goals, her happiness inevitably transfers to her family. Conversely, a caring mother who also puts efforts into her work is more likely to be good at balancing multiple responsibilities and ensuring time efficiency. According to a survey by Times Job, over 60% of the surveyed organization believe that working mothers are an asset for them, thereby denying the notion that any such employees cannot be proficient in their careers. In conclusion, exhibiting motherliness need not put an imposition on your career growth. Rather, it should be a source of self-respect because you are not depriving of your child of a mother's love. Instead, you're becoming a role model for your child, who in the future will witness a trailblazing and extraordinary woman who is also a good mother.
That's very well said. And I think if we change this mindset that, yes, we are setting a good role model while we're working, it could work. I would love to hear from Dr. Nancy. Go ahead, Dr. Nancy. Your thoughts on this?
This is true by heart, and trust me, very well pointed. I'm amazed by the youth, understanding, I'll not say the plight of women, but the real situation. So, surely, be it men or women, when we're discussing today, they are affected by the three factors, which is, marriage, maternity, and mobility. So when we're discussing upon children, motherhood is a wonderful, you can say, a face, a treasure that every woman wants to embrace. I am also a mother of two beautiful souls, but I feel my career was my first baby. And like my two children, I give the same priority to it too. So, it is all about the perception. While we are the good mother and while we embrace motherhood beautifully, we have to satisfy the dreams and aspirations of the girls inside, the women inside us. And, it has to go part and parcel. Very well said that we are the role models, not just the role models. Our children become so independent, seeing an independent mother. So you never know, it's never, being a homemaker or being a career woman, whether we can do it all. It's all about being happy, do what you want. And kids are no, kids are not to be treated as a decision of whether I can do it my career or not, whether I could change or I could mold accordingly. Kids should enhance it. Rather, your decision should be like that, that you should be the inspiration for your kids, for your children. So I
Very
feel
well. Nicely said.
And adding to a point to that, I believe that the societies should understand that today women, and not even today, from a very long time, women have a holistic and larger than life personality that is very much capable of being very successful entrepreneurs, just like the speakers that are sitting here, along with being very good mothers and capable mothers as well.
Nicely put. And I'm going to ask this question to the audience too. So do they think that motherliness often interrupts the career graph of a woman? While we take a rebuttal from Avisha. Avisha, please, would love to hear your thoughts.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
I do agree with Dave on his views. Women do have motherliness that does affect their career graph. It doesn't stand true for all women, but it is a general fact. According to you, Dave, what are realistic steps that you said you're an entrepreneur? So what are realistic steps that you can take in your organization or company to make it easier for women to have children and have a family life, as well as have a good and stable career?
Dave, I think that question's yes. Please,
Yeah.
would like to hear you.
The one of the most fundamental changes that I believe should be taken is that removing the taboos about women coming to work back after their maternal leave after the birth of their child, because after that it seems that while this is as you said, it is a general fact, it is a proven fact that mother's attention will also be divided between the child and her work. But as I said, this only promotes the multitasking abilities of the mother, and it's in the long run it's only gonna give back to the organization and build the goodwill of the organization in which they support the women during their tough times.
And I think, as Smita is pointing out, I think it's this guilt syndrome that most mother and women suffer from. So something to be done about the feeling of less guilty. We're going to move on to our next question, which is going to be to Priya Sonkar from class 12th in Jaipuria School. She's the member of the World Teen Parliament who wants to bring a revolution to make the world a peaceful place to live in. I love your goal, Priya, and more power to it. Now, the question to you is, if your promotion is due, that comes with the additional responsibilities and additional time commitments, and at the same time, your child is going through a tough time and needs more parental supervision, what would you do?
So it's kind of a tricky question. It's like two sides of a coin. But if as a mother, I have a choice, then I will accept the promotion. Accepting the promotion doesn't mean that I am being greedy. It might be that I have financial instability, or I might be planning a bright future for my child. And when it's come about giving an extra supervision to my child, I, along with my partner, will try to coordinate equally to give him a time. We will try to come on time on home, to have a meal with him, to have a nice talk with him. We will try to get along with him, and we'll try to know the things, what he is going through, and how we can support him. I will talk to him about my childhood, about how I get through the things in my life. I will tell him how this is how important this period is. I will tell him that having ups and downs in the life is quite normal, and that is what makes you more stronger and get you closer to the success. And I think I will be able to balance both work and career together, because every woman is special and stronger, and she make the surrounding more beautiful. And yeah, that's
No,
it.
the beautifully said. And I think I like that you said you will not sacrifice your career because, and I think even Smitha is pointing out, even if we feel we have support, it's the guilt of not being around. And that's what you're trying to overcome. Tanvi, would love to hear your thoughts on this because this is such a common question we all face.
Yes, sorry about that. I was not getting allowed to unmute myself. Okay. I actually want to share a personal story here. So I grew up in a small town, and I'll make it very fast, but it's completely relevant to the question that was asked. I grew up in a small town called Ambala. My mom is from Delhi. And ever since we were kids, my brother and I were kids, my mom was working. And there were very, very few women at that time who were working. And my mom is an entrepreneur. She did not work because she needed to, but only because she wanted to. And while growing up, my brother and I knew that we were not enough for her. That she, as much as she loved her husband and her family and her kids, she also had something inside of her that needed to be satiated and needed to, to continue to be grown. And well, we turned out fine kids. My brother and I, we turned out fine. So I tell everybody who goes through this, because it's so personal, so I don't really know if I'm in a position to make a comment, because I don't know what a mother is going through, and maybe the kind of care that Chari needs or the attention that Chari needs. But I can definitely say that whenever anyone asks me this question, I do tell them that, hey, you know what, I'm a success story in front of you. We grew up with a lot of nannies and with a full-time working mother who's still working, and we turned out fine. So kids do turn out fine. It's the environment you give them at home in the little time that you can spend with them, which kind of makes them into who they are. So yes, you don't need to give it all up, or you may, but don't be guilty. It's okay. It's a choice.
Fantastic. No, very well said. And I'm just going to read Ranadhir's comment because I think he also sums it up. Women should live happily, work at a job, lead a family, lead a company, live as they like, but don't dominate or hinder, insult other genders. Here, all women should be treated as equal, irrespective of work. Women should have commitment among themselves and lead the society. Very well said. And we're going to take the rebuttal from Shatab. Go ahead.
I do agree with it, and it's sort of a similar story as Tanvi ma'am said, because, well, for me, my dad is a government official. So for as long as I remember, he's always been posted in a different city. So for me and my sister, while we were growing up, the only influence that we had was my mother. A similar story. So because my dad had additional responsibilities and time commitments, you talk it out with the spouse and you work through the details of how to proceed with it and keep the family responsibilities in check. And well, same thing, I'd like to say that turned out just fine.
Fantastic. So that's what we're seeing. And I think lots of studies are also showing that women, when they're working and they're more happy, and I think also they've pointed it out, actually, that is what makes the child stronger and makes a more happy household. So we're going to go to Avisha. Avisha is a 12th grader. She's from in Mount School in Shillong. She's an anime enthusiast and wants to build a career in this field. So Avisha, the question to you is, if you open a for-profit company with the mission to empower women, but the profitability of the company is getting compromised because women employees refuse to go for field visits, would you compromise on profitability or the mission of the company?
Am I audible?
Yes, please.
Thank you for the question. My first response will be to determine what their problems are, whether they be societal problems, family responsibilities, having children, the work environment and structure, or perhaps personal reasons. The mission of the company will be to empower women, and that is exactly what we will be working towards in this hypothetical situation. However, in a profit organization, as the head, I think I will choose the stability of the organization first, so that in the long run, we can create a safe environment for my colleagues and employees. And if the company stays afloat and positively affects the lives of the women we work for, we can thereafter work on the issues brought up by the employees itself.
Well, very well said, but this is a big issue because a lot of women will not take traveling jobs, but would love to hear from Dr. Nancy on this because this is one of the tougher issues to deal with as a working person.
So definitely, I must say, all of this what we're discussing is self-experience. Again, some personal experiences. Traveling, as I told you, definitely, marriage, maternity affects the mobility, and you cannot grow in the cocoon of your city, of your, ambience near to it. Definitely you have to travel if you have to grow. With me also, I started, there was a lag between my birth of two children where I stopped traveling. There were many opportunities which came, but being so aggressive in my career also, I couldn't travel, and that was absolutely okay for me. As it is said, it is easier said than done. At times, we need to see what it is, what is the priority of the situation. So surely, it affects the women. We need to see how it goes, and there has to be a very thin line between balancing what is needed, what can be managed. And I feel all the women are doing the best. So, everything starts. We're traveling once again. I mean, even the kids know the pattern, as rightly put by, our co-judge, that kids also know the routine, that the mama has to travel, we need to manage ourselves. They become more independent. They understand the routine that this is how we need to manage our school, our homecoming. The things which were impossible for me also were managed, and I never knew that my kids at such a young age would understand, and they did so. So trust me, I feel a lot of life skills which is developed in my kids just because of my work style. So everything can be done when you have the persistence and when you make the things understand to them.
Very well said. And I have a friend of mine, real story. She says she's the traveling spouse. So she's the one that's gone from Monday to Friday. And so she comes home on the Friday evening, and people are shocked because when they think that there's a traveling spouse, they often think of that it must be the man. So we'll take the rebuttal from you, Dave.
Yeah. So in accordance with the aforementioned question, I do not fully concur with Avisha's stance because I personally believe that, and this can be supported by the women judges that are present here and because of the companies that they have set up, I personally believe that a company, while aiming to maximize its profitability, should never compromise its principles. And I'm not governing my thought process from a moral standpoint. Instead, there is a fundamental and quantitative reasoning behind it. It has been seen that companies that stand behind their principles in tough times accrue enormous goodwill and confidence from their stakeholders. And this eventually materializes in the form of success and long-term survival of the company, which is far more important than the short-term profitability of a company. Thereby, speaking in economic terms of opportunity cost, the foregone benefit of aiming for profitability rather than upholding the banner of the company's tenets is far greater than choosing the company's mission over the materialistic profits. So that would be my point of view.
Very nicely said. And I love some of the comments that are coming in. They said we have to be selfish to survive. I'm going to put it another way. We have to remove that word that we are being selfish. We have to be true to ourselves to survive. I would love to hear your comments on that from Tanvi and from Dr. Nancy, because we often feel if we're doing something for ourselves, it is selfish.
Yes, should I?
Yes, please go ahead.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So I very rightly put, it's not being selfish to prioritize yourself. It is just not being selfish because unless and until you know the real you, when I say the real you, it is not the social media picture that you put. It is not the image that you have, made publicly. It is your core values. It is your passion. When you start working, it is by that unending fire in you. And when this fire, you realize that fire, you realize the mission by what you started and came so far. Nothing is selfish. It is all about, finding who you are and moving to the direction to explore your best. And in that journey, there's so many decisions you have to take. The world might think you're selfish, but only you know your journey. Only you know how you are managing as a mother or as an entrepreneur. Only you know what is the position of your family, kids, as well as your standard of living. And you have to take your decisions accordingly. It is your life. You need to take responsibility for it. No one else. And when we say society, I saw some of the student panel saying society matters. Yes, it does. But to the limit you allow the society to matter you, not to them. So the ball is always in your court, not there. We never have to give the remote of our life to someone else. That is all about it. And when we do that, it is us. When we feel guilty that yes, it is selfish, I've been choosing my kid, my work over them, or my, anything. Even I miss some of the play dates, some of the birthday parties of my kids. And I feel guilty at the end of the day that, they are feeling bad. But that is what we need to do. There's so many things. I've missed many traveling opportunities, which were opportunities for me. But maybe when I make them understand, people realize what is it for her. So everything about perception. If you feel guilty, the word will also say the same. But if you raise your point and say that this is important for me, boss, and all the priorities I am managing, all the roles I'm doing, this is also important, they will also treat your decisions like that. So that is it.
Anvi, I would love to hear your point of view too.
So I absolutely agree with you, Sukriti, and with Dr. Nancy as well here. There are two words I'll pick. One is selfish and the other is perception. To everyone here, the words that we say from our mouth end up becoming our reality. So we've got to be very careful of what words do we choose to address ourselves, because that not just shapes the perception people form about us, but also the perception we give to ourselves. We are conditioned in certain ways where the whole concept of responsibility and social norms, जो word normal भी आता है, वो कहाँ से आता है? Norm से आता है. अगर 10 लोग खड़े हो गए and उन्होंने मिलकर decide कर लिया कि ये चीज ऐसे होनी चाहिए, वो norm बन जाता है, and then that becomes normal because everybody is going ahead and do it. But that does not necessarily mean that that is the only thing to be done, or that is the only path to be taken. It's just that if you choose to take another path, then the person that we most often need to forgive, and we don't, is ourselves, because we choose something different, and that might be the road lesser traveled, or that might be harder, and it's okay. It's also important to be true to yourself, like you said, Sukriti, earlier. If money is important to you, then you choose that. If a social cause is what you feel your purpose is, then you choose that and then you run with it. But do it for yourself, understanding, otherwise it ends up frustrating you and nobody's happy. So that's
yeah, totally agreed. And I think the last question, and I'm going to put it to all the students, and you quickly have to give me this in one sentence, and no more than one sentence is allowed. So I'm going to throw out the question and I'm going to go and give the name. So here is the question. Do you think women being financially independent changes the power dynamics of a married life? Avisha, go ahead.
I think it does. If a woman is financially independent, she has more say. There's a saying that goes, the person who has the money holds the power.
Perfect. One line only. Go ahead, Priya.
I will say no. Being financially independent gave the women liberty to be seen in the society. It's you get a choice of your financial choice. Like you get a freedom.
That's it. Your one sentence is over. Dave, go ahead.
My answer would be yes and no, because yes, it does increase their power, and no, because it brings back the balance in the power dynamic that should be present in a marriage.
Very nicely said. Shatab, go ahead. One line only. Shaptab, sorry. Please pronounce your name correctly because I've been saying it wrong. Shaptab, go ahead.
So I don't think that it entirely changes the dynamics of a relationship. I mean, it does affect them, but not the power dynamics, just the financial dynamics, the control, the aspect of it in the relationship. Like,
fantastic. So we hope that is what is going to happen in 2030. Asta, last but not least.
Yeah, it changes the power dynamics, but again, change is inevitable and it's the only constant. And I believe that women to be financially independent gives them the liberty to make their own financial choices, and hence it is something that we should look forward in 2030.
Perfect. And Nitin, I would like you to share the survey slides, because we did a survey of quite some children and the Gen Z and got some interesting reactions. Go ahead, Nitin. Rohit, do you want to share the slides? Nitin, you're not viewable, audible. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. I'm just going to share the slides. One second. Okay, so we had a survey rolled out to several school students. We had responses from about 100 plus school students even this time. And here are some of the responses which are so in line with what was discussed today. So the question was, Indian women receiving 60% less salary for the same jobs with respect to men. Why do you think that happens? And most people think that it's because the society is deeply patriarchal. And some of the people also believe that's because women are given lesser responsibilities in the field due to safety and social reasons. And not many women are in leading positions in the companies. And what do you think the reason is? And here the verdict is divided between they are being seen as soft and incapable of taking tough decisions, and many men don't accept them as leaders as they succumb to office politics, is what they
This
believe.
one is very, very interesting, Nitin, because if you go back, they are seen as soft and incapable. Please remember that these answers are by Gen Z. And so very interesting that they're noticing these trends.
So let me move to this fourth question. Do you think women will benefit in careers if fathers of their children got longer paternity leaves? Women, actually, the Gen Z overwhelmingly believes, yes, that will ensure sharing of responsibilities and women will be less fatigued, easing their transition back to work. So this is something for the government, for the corporates to really take note of. Men dominate jobs in STEM. Why do you think that is?
Nitin, we lost you. So I will just take over because, I mean, as you can see from the responses, it says lack of equal opportunities due to false preconceived notions. And the last question is, do you think the concept of a house husband should be encouraged to allow women to advance their careers? And yes, it was 24%, but A, which is interesting, no, the focus should be on both genders. So very, very interesting responses that we have received. I'd like to go back. And like we said, and Nitin has said that over 100 people have responded to the survey. So we're getting kind of an idea about the thinking of the next generation. Nancy and Tanvi, I would like to get your closing remarks. I'd like to get your thoughts on what you thought about the discussion today.
So indeed, ma'am, it was lovely, and I feel it all. And when you said the last, this is a very bold statement to bring it. I must say that, as you said, to trigger out this concept and support it. I mean, house husbands, house spouses, we talk about women empowerment, we talk about women and men are equal. But yes, being a homemaker for women is not a taboo. It is meant to be. Women are meant to take care of house. It is implied. Whether they work or not, the house is their responsibility. But we never talk for this for men. It is never open. So when we talk about this today, it is something of a personal choice, I'll say, because I'll not be, supporting here femininity and saying that, yes, we should support so that women can grow. Yes, it matters, maybe in a week, once a day, twice a day, when women have to go somewhere, maybe for trips and all. Even I request my husband to be house husband.
And I like that the word you use, request, not that it is his responsibility.
It is not the responsibility of the husband for the career of women. Similarly, it should not be the responsibility of women too. Why not? When we are getting into the settlement known as marriage, it is the combined responsibility from both the partners, be it as a co-parents, be it as co-career aspirants. That should be the norm of society today. So when we talk about it, it should not be raised as a taboo. So what? Even I feel guilty, as everyone discussed there. I used to feel guilty. I was in that zone that my husband is 2-3 days at home when I'm traveling out of India for my work. He is managing everything. Though he was very sorted and he said, I can manage work from home. But I was feeling guilty as a woman. Why? Because of the society I am living in. But when it is normal, I mean, we both are partners of life. So why not partners at work? So I feel, I don't know, I should say it should be supported and propagated like that. So when we used to have maternity break for the women, now we have maternity break for the dads also, and same. And this was so good when it became a law that, maternity, paternal break is also there, which is much required. Similarly, why not? Everything a woman and man can do equally. Yes, the technology, we have progressed a lot. Only one thing, that women are blessed to give birth to the child. That has not been really been shifted. Else, everything can be partly divided, requested, talked about, and put up in a very decent way. So,
Yeah, no, I really resonate with this, that this homemaker term, we have associated it with gender, and that we need to remove the gender from. Tanvi, over to you. I'd love to hear your closing thoughts.
So I've had such a pleasure, and I was saying this to Nitin yesterday, that I'm sure there's so much that I learn from all these youngsters that we have here. I just want to say as a closing thought to everyone is that everybody has to be financially independent. It's not, I honestly believe it's not a choice. It is something that you must secure for yourself. And it affects every dynamic you have. It also affects your personal confidence. And later on, it goes to the relationships that you have in life. To all the youngsters today, I'd say that your references of society are coming from what you've seen of your mothers and of all the elder women that you have known. But keep your mind open as you progress, as you may study somewhere in India or abroad and meet people from different places and cultures. Your references should shape from how women and men are also now, young women and men are also looking at careers, looking at the kind of jobs that they want to pick up or the businesses that they want to set up. So allow yourself to embrace the fact that it is going to change, because life only moves forward, it doesn't go backward. So we pick that as a part of our tradition, but we become ingenuous and we see whatever is happening in the society and the way it's evolving and do our bit to shape it for ourselves and the people that we can impact.
Very nice, Tanvi. I think this perspective of looking forward and being the right role models as we move forward. And Nitin, over to you. I think drum rolls, we're going to find out who the winner is.
Okay. I just hope my network doesn't go down, but the compilation is done. And any guesses for who the winner is?
Well, I thought all of them might be tough choices. What about you, Nancy and Tanvi?
It was really tough.
I think everybody was really good. And I would tell all of you to hold on to the thoughts that you have, and learn from each other as well.
Okay, so what we've decided is to actually announce the top two today. So number one is Dev Shukla. And the real...
Uh-oh, we're waiting for... And Shaptab is the second. So we've got it into the message. So sorry about that. Where are you? I'd love to see you also. Dev, I would love to hear your closing thoughts.
Thank you. My closing thoughts would be on the similar lines of both of our speakers. What I truly believe, I'd like to share a very short experience of mine. When I started reading about all these type of feminist thoughts regarding the paternal leaves and the husband being the sole householder person and with taking care of the children, I'll be very honest. It wasn't something that was very easily conceivable to me, and I'll tell the reason for that. The reason was that since my birth and since my childhood, I had been taught about that in a certain manner, in a conservative manner, and that was the reason why I was not able to perceive them in a more liberalized point of view. But the only thing that I want to say to everyone is keep reading both the aspects of a phenomena, and then make your own choice, because that way you'll be making a very informed decision and obviously contributing to the betterment of the society.
Fantastic. No, so well said. Shaptab, we'd like to hear your closing thoughts.
Well, they basically summed the entire thing up for me. And well, I agree with him. Just, keep an open mind about stuff, and there's always a chance to do better.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And it was really very, very insightful. So on behalf of myself, Sukirti, Dr. Nancy Juneja, and from Tanvi Singhal, from Nitin Dhawan, we all thank you. Thank you to all of our panelists. You all were amazing. I wish we had so much clarity of thought when we were so much younger. So Asta, Shabtab, Dave, Priya, and Avisha, a lot of luck. And I loved your thought process. And we hope that you keep, like we said, keep reading, keep exploring, and keep being the role models for the future. With that, we wish everyone a very, very good day this Saturday.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Thank you.
A total pleasure. And, it's so lovely to see such thought-provoking points. And, trust me, the women in me is very happy that the young generation today is so vocal and supporting them. So, behind the successful woman, it is a successful man? No way. It is the entire generation. We actually need each other's support to create the ecosystem where men and women are equal. And we're not just having panel discussion for women of 2030. Why not, I suggest you and Sir to do with the men of 2032.
Fantastic. Nitin, more work for you.
Exactly.
Great. Thank you, everyone. And I think you just said it well. Thanks for the lovely discussion. All our winners. And really, the thoughts are what are important here and the fact that we're hearing. Nitin, any last words before we end for today? I think he's having an issue with his network. So with that, we will close for today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We will be back in another 2 weeks on another Power Pack session with another 5 Gen Zers to understand how do they think and what is the thought process of the future.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.